cannot end all these wars. Only peace, only peace. War cannot end all these wars. Only peace, only peace. Oh, oh, oh,
I want to try that one more time.
Those words are adapted from a quote by Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Night cannot drive out night, only light can do that. And we are here on this Shabbat of MLK Jr. weekend, to make some light that can drive out the dark. To make light that will drive out the darkness in our lives, that will illuminate even the dark spots in our lives. And to make light that will drive out the darkness in the world, that will drive out the darkness here and around this globe that is so desperately in need of our light. We are so happy to be here with you as we spend this Shabbat searching for light. And as our first step in that task, it is my honor to call up our bat mitzvah girls, Caroline and Ashley, and their parents to lead us in the lighting of the Shabbat candles, which can be found on pages 2 and 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, guys. We continue welcoming Shabbat with the words Lechu Neranena, found on page 13. Lechu neranena, yai lai 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 lai, l'Adonai, yai lai 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 lai, nahariah, yai lai 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 lai, letzor yishenu.
We continue our work of welcoming Shabbat and the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 together, and when we reach the 9th verse, we'll rise as we are able, turn to the back entrance as the bride enters page 20.
Lecha Dodi, Mikrat Kala.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela.
Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu et hamichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala, Bnei Shabbat,
Lekabela.
Likrat Shabbat, Behuvenecha, Ki Mekor HaBracha, Berush Mikedem Lefsufcha, Sof Maaseh B'Mashavatila.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Kala,
Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Kala,
Bnei Shabbat,
Lekabela.
Hitoreri, kiva oref kumi ori, uri shidaberi, kiva Adonai Elohai yiknikla.
Lecha Dodi,
Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Kala,
Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi,
Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Kala,
Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela.
בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
Kala,
Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Bnei Shabbat, Lekabela.
Now that we have greeted the Sabbath bride, let's take a minute and greet each other. Introduce yourself to the people around you don't know. When you hear the band start playing, that's your cue to come back. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat.
We should just start playing.
As our Ma'ariv Aravim, our prayer for the evening this evening, a poem by Sarah Teasdale called Barter. Life has loveliness to sell, all beautiful and splendid things, blue waves whitened on a cliff, soaring fire that sways and sings, and children's faces looking up, holding wonder in a cup. Life has loveliness to sell, music like a curve of gold, scent of pine trees in the rain, eyes that love you, arms that hold, and for your spirit still delight, holy thoughts, that star, the night. Spend all you have for loveliness, buy it and never count the cost. For one white singing hour of peace, count many a year of strife well lost. And for a breath of ecstasy, give all you have been and all you can be. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha
Please be seated. It's my honor to invite Ashley up, who will be bat mitzvah tomorrow, to lead us in Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Pray with me together at the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha lehedar b'kodesh, nora tegilo, no sefele, nora tegilo. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
We continue on page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true perfection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Caroline is going to make her way to the bima to lead us in the Amidah, which begins on page 46, as we invite you please to rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehila teha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Haste Avot V'Imot Umevigula Livnei V'Nehem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeha Kol Ata Raf Lehoshia, Meshiv HaRuach, Umorit HaGashem, Mechakel Hayim Bechesed, Mechayeha Kol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Berafei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunatov, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Geverot, Umidom Elach, Melech Mimid, Umekayem, Umatir Yeshua, V'de'em Manata Lehachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim Echol Yom Yehalelu HaSelah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Page 59, we pray together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue on page 60 with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha Tassim.
We continue with a moment of silent prayer.
if we are going to use our light to push back darkness in this world in need of healing, we might start with those in our lives in need of healing. And an awareness of the fact that our lives can be a healing and a wholeness-making presence for those who struggle with illness, those who struggle with chronic pain, with addiction, those in recovery, those in our lives for whom the darkness is desperately in need of light. In our community, we are thinking this evening of Bradley Borden, Melba Berman, Jennifer Carey, Michelle Cohen, Miles Cohen, Rose Ann Finkel, Alan Garber, Frederick Hodgkins, Sarah James, Anna Rose King, Becky Kotwitz, Lawrence Levy, Melanie Candler Little, Bree Pugh, Marilyn Shapiro, Carol Wasserstein, Roger Williams, Esther Bat Zipporah, Chena Rochel Mindel Bat Aharon Vitzipora, and David Lipa Ben Miriam. The words of Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, are found on page 253. And also, but instead tonight they're in your handout.
They're not in your handout. They're just
They're in your
the
hearts.
Air. They're in our hearts.
Yeah.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב.
מי שברך אמותינו, שרה רבקה לאה ורחל.
May the one who blessed our mothers,
May the one who blessed our fathers
hear our prayer,
hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love.
bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avoteinu, mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as
A few brief announcements this Shabbat. At the end of services, we'll have the opportunity to say a blessing over the wine and challah together. We are grateful to the Brines and Rheingold family for sponsoring the wine and challah in honor of their daughter's benot mitzvah. If you had an opportunity to grab a Shabbat handout on your way in, everything I'm about to tell you is there in greater detail. But I would point your attention to a few things. Coming up 1 week from Sunday on January 26th is Cantor Simmons' annual concert, this year entitled Longing and Belonging, Songs of Home. It's going to be a beautiful, eclectic collection of music featuring some of our singers from the congregation, and our youth choir, our teachers in both our preschool and our religious school, and Cantor Simmons. It's going to be really stellar. We hope you will join us. The program is free, but we do love it if you can register online so we know how many people to expect. Also, we are excited to host Academy Award-winning actress Marlee Matlin as she presents Nobody's Perfect, Achieving Inclusion, Diversity, and Access on Thursday, January 30th at 7:30 p.m. Reserve your seat on our website today. And lastly, we would like to welcome our classics group to Shabbat services this evening. We look forward to having you join us for a Shabbat dinner in the boardroom after services. I'll also point out that there are a couple of seats here and a couple of seats there for people who are standing in the back. I know you'd have to come all the way to the front, which is risky, but you're welcome to try. Have you ever been in a conversation and midway through it you realize that you and the other person are having two entirely different conversations? Like you thought you were sharing something deep and painful and they thought you were talking about the weather? It's as if each of you entered into the conversation with a different script from a different play, and there is no one to point out that I'm performing Hamlet and you're doing Much Ado About Nothing. I'll give you an example. I was once the victim of history's most ineffectual mugging, and it was all because we were on two different scripts. This was years ago when I lived in Washington, D.C., and it was 3 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. I was standing on a fairly busy street waiting for the bus. A gentleman walked up to me, and he asked me, "Do you have money for the bus?" Now, if you live in D.C. and you take the bus regularly, this happens once or twice a week. So the script that I entered into in my head was the "this person wants bus fare" script. And I said, "No, I'm sorry." And then he said, "Well, how are you getting on the bus?" Which I thought was a weird question, but I'm still in the script of bus fare. So I say, "Well, I have my smart card." And he said, "Well, give me your smart card." And I thought, "No." And I said, "No, because then how would I get on the bus?" And then he lifted up his shirt, and tucked into the waistband of his pants was the butt of a gun. And I'd like to tell you that this was the moment where I realized I was on the wrong script, but it was not. And I thought to myself two thoughts. One, this guy really wants bus fare. And two, I don't think he's going to shoot me for bus fare on a busy street on a Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. But I'd really like this conversation to be over. And so I reached into my wallet, and I took out my wallet. The smallest bill I had was a $20 bill, so I handed him a $20 bill. And as I go to put my wallet back in my pocket, he said, "Give me your wallet." And then I went, "Oh, this is a mugging. You did not make that clear. This would have gone much more smoothly if you had made that clear." In my head, I said all of that in my head. But again, I had the thought he wasn't going to shoot me at 3 p.m., and also that he now had $20 he didn't have before, and that I could see the bus coming 2 blocks away. And so I stepped into the street, where in between the cars, and I walked to the other side of the street, and he walked away. And then I came back to my side of the street, and I got on the bus just as the bus was pulling up. And the bus driver, who had seen me do this very strange maneuver, said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I think I just got mugged." And he said, "Would you like me to call someone?" And I said, "I don't know, because I only gave him $20 and then walked away." Once we're stuck on a script, it's difficult to change. Even when our lives are in danger, once we're committed to the script, we cannot seem to pull ourselves out of it. Once you're a few pages into King Lear, it's incredibly difficult to switch to Taming of the Shrew. So we just keep talking past each other until one of us steps out into traffic. I've been thinking a lot about the script this week in the wake of the shooting at Bel Air High School on Tuesday. As the news was emerging about the tragedy, people began to pull out their well-worn copies of the script. How heartbreaking that we have become so practiced at responding to school shootings that we have scripts at the ready. We know what we will say. Our public officials give essentially the same speech as communities begin to mourn. Classes will be canceled, impromptu memorials will be set up, and vigils will be candle lit. The tragedy of a school shooting happens so often that we have all memorized our lines. There was a time on Tuesday where I considered just reusing the Shabbat sermon I gave the day of the school shooting in Santa Fe less than 2 years ago. Then I had struggled to put into words my heartbreak and my anger. Would there be anything new to say today, or should I just stick to the script? But I don't know who this script serves. Do these words, which have become so familiar on our tongues, help us find comfort? Are they a means to heal or maybe even to change? Or do they serve only to keep us trapped in a play that keeps repeating itself night after night, unchanging from performance to performance? A student has died and a whole community is talking about it. But he comes up a little less today, and he will even less tomorrow. For Cesar Cortez's family, life will never be the same. For his friends and classmates, too. But for the rest of us, with the luxury of even a little distance, when we reach the end of the script, we put it back on the shelf and go back to our lives as they were before. And Cesar Cortez was not even the only high school student shot in Houston on January 14th. A 17-year-old was shot in the leg while walking home from school in the neighborhood of Gulfton that very same day. I found reports of no less than 5 other gun-related incidents that day, and those were the ones reported in the news. The Gun Violence Archive has documented 1,778 gun violence incidents in the United States in the first 17 days of 2020. Of those, more than 1,000 were suicide-related. I still have not put away my box of New Year's decorations in my house, and there have been 9 mass shootings so far this year. How many guns were carried into schools on Tuesday, but thankfully did not have their triggers pulled in a supply closet? How many kids played with an unlocked gun belonging to a parent which, thank God, did not go off? How many people were waiting for a bus when someone showed them the butt of a gun and asked them for bus fare, but then walked away? Opportunities narrowly missed to pull out the script. We've not always had this script. I was in middle school when 12 students and 1 teacher were murdered at Columbine High School. My middle school was about 20 minutes away. We went on lockdown. This was before we had drills for such things. This was before students had thought about where they would hide in each classroom, before teachers had been trained on how to barricade doors. So we just sat in keyboarding class without any information on what was happening. This was when the script was still being written. This was when the rituals of media coverage and vigils had not fully been codified. So that night I sat on our couch with my parents, watching my father, the elementary school teacher, cry and letting my mother hug me harder than I was comfortable with. 21 years later, and our response times have gotten faster, our prayers more eloquent, and our thoughts more thoughtful. But like a frog in a pot of water slowly boiling, the temperature rose so slowly we didn't notice as our shock at each subsequent tragedy was diminishing. This week we begin the book of Exodus. As the Haggadah says, our story begins in degradation. In the first few verses of the book, we are told that Joseph and his brothers died, and as a new king arose in Egypt who did not know Joseph, he sees the Israelites and is intimidated by their numbers, so he enslaves them. And when somehow under the constraint of forced labor they still continue to multiply, Pharaoh begins to devise a plan to murder them. Nachmanides teaches that perhaps Pharaoh had planned all along to annihilate the Israelites. But he knew that if he did it outright, his people might object. So he enslaved them first to teach the Egyptians that the Israelites were subhuman. Then he ordered the midwives to murder the Israelite babies, but to do it in a way that not even their mothers would know what was happening. Only then, when people were inured to the death of the Israelite children, could he order the Israelite boys be thrown into the Nile. Ramban imagines that by then, so commonplace had these images of death become, that Egyptians would walk into Israelite homes and rip children from their mother's arms. When a father would cry out for justice, they would challenge him, saying, "Who can you bring as witnesses?" In Ramban's dark retelling, the temperature slowly rose on the Israelite community until their children were dying, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. And yet, in the midst of this darkness, there is light. Light in the form of two Egyptian midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, who refused to obey Pharaoh's immoral command. Somehow these two women choose another script, despite the power dynamic, one where Pharaoh appeared to have all of it and the women appeared to have none. They refused to participate in a system that facilitated the death of innocent children. But how did they do it? How did they look at this script and still choose to resist, even when the rest of the Egyptians saw it as inevitable and unalterable? I think it is precisely because they were midwives that they were able to think in a different way. To be a midwife is to be an agent of hope, to gently pull forth possibility into this world. Rashi teaches that the name Shiphrah means improvement. By their very nature, midwives work towards improvement of the world. And so, when faced with the insurmountable injustice, the midwives could think of nothing to do but give birth to more hope. To be a midwife of hope can feel at times a lonely act. Choosing a new script can mean going against the grain, alienating people who stay stuck in the old narrative. The rabbis wondered how Shiphrah and Puah could manage this revolutionary act alone. How could two midwives have saved enough Israelite children to warrant being called to answer in front of Pharaoh directly? The rabbis imagined that they were, in fact, not alone. They decided that there were more than 500 midwives to serve the Jewish community, and that Shiphrah and Puah were their guild leaders. They represented all these other nameless, faceless women doing the tireless work of demanding justice in an unjust system. How welcome is this reminder that when we feel like we are taking the lonely first steps of justice, we often find that there are legions behind us waiting to charge ahead. What might begin as lonely work so quickly can become a movement. So this is where we are. We have a choice. We can be actors in a play, obeying the script. We can recite our lines night after night in an endless cycle of tragedy, or we can be midwives of hope. We can help this world give birth to justice. We can work with our words and our hands for a world where our children are safe from stray bullets and mass shooters and suicidal ideation. When we step forward, we can remind ourselves that we are not alone, that tragedy and violence are not the natural order of things, that God did not ordain this system. The birth pangs of justice are fierce. There will be screaming and tears. But let us scream out for justice. Let us push for a world less broken. Let us breathe in deeply the possibility of change. If we are to rewrite the script, let us be like Shiphrah and Puah, committed to the work of building a tomorrow that is an improvement on today. Let us be midwives of hope in a world desperately in need of repair. At the end of the darkness, a new dawn is waiting to be born. We are called to welcome it into this world. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the words of Emanu L'Shabeach on page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, la'tei gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
A poem called The Thing Is by Ellen Bass. The thing is to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weighs you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. Our heart goes out in sympathy to the families of Sarah Weissman and Robert Mendelson, who were laid to rest in recent days. Our congregation recalls the memory of Herman Abrams, Albert Egres, Joel Norman Axelrod, Rebecca Barvin, Michael Baum, Carrie N. Becker, Joan Berenson, Helen Berman, Mary Helen Hobson Berman, Albert Bertman, Edwin Black, Herb Brockstein, David Brockstein, Shirley Kaplan, Marilyn P. Karsh, Harold W. Chancellor, Rose Clarence, Doris Port Cohen, Bernard Cohen, Elaine Byron Kaminsky, Bessie Davis, Mae Dorn, Terry Rudolph Draper, June Fine Epstein, Emery Farkas, Lenore Fenberg, Sarah Fink, Anna Finkelstein, Anna Friedberg, Louis Friedman, Laura Gandler, Jeanette Gilden, Max Goldfarb, Sammy Green, Ronald Greenfield, Myra Grossman, Anita Gruen, Marcia Gale Guto, Jacqueline Reeder Hauser, Robert N. Hess Jr., Stephen F. Hochschild, Arthur I. Holland, Eleanor Josephson, Joe Cates, Myron Kahn, Rosalind Schwartzberg Kaplan, Richard Saul Kaplan, Harry Kaplan, Hope Silber Kaplan, Josephine Ruth Kaplan, Harry Katz, Molly Frey Kessler, Isidore J. Kessler, Samuel Klickstein, Aaron Kruger, Harry Kroll, Louis Landau, Irving Lauterbach, Doris Leistein, Sophie Lemmel, Bessie Leon, Maurice Poy Levy, Joseph Joe Levy, Morris Lichtenstein, Florence Locke, Florence Loeb, Beatrice Lord, Margaret Lubell, Alan Lurie, Gilbert Lynn, Joseph Malikoff, Anna Maltz, Charles Maltz, Henry G. Manny, Fred Marks, Henry G. Morrison, Alfred Moskowitz, Harold Myers, Herbert Nemiroff, Alvin Oshman, Bertha Pasternak, Jack Purcell, Jacob Remmels, Eva Rosenbaum, Dorothy Rosenthal, Betty Rosenthal, George Samuels, Bernard Buddy Shear, Albert Schneider, Hirsch Scholl, Maurice Schwartz, Frida Schreiber Selig, Ben Sembler, Iris Siff, Haskell Simon, Mary Smiley, Edna Bell Smith, Bernard Solomon, Gussie Gerson Sondak, Louis M. Spear, Regina Glassner Sperber, Celia Held Springer, Martin Steiner, Marilyn L. Steiner, Saul Stepanoff, Arthur Stern, Simon Strauss, Lillian Strumminger, Sarah Tolsky, Samuel Tyser, Nelson F. Waldman, Philip Marvin Wallach, Cecil Wayne, Molly Weintraub, Alfred Wolf, Jack Wolf, Stephen G. Wolfson, Frida Wolochin, and Ruth Ann Wolochin. If there are others that you're recalling this Shabbat, or if I've misspoken any of the names in the list, I invite you to speak those names as I look towards your part of the room. The words of Mourner's Kaddish are on page 294. We rise together as one community. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah,
Be'alma divrach v'yirtei v'yamlik malchutei, B'chai echon v'yom echon v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'mei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Kedusha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Ta'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabbah min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen.
Oseh shalom
B'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu
ve'al kol Yisrael
V'yimru Amen.
Please be seated. We invite back up Caroline and Ashley and their siblings and cousins to lead us in Kiddush, which can be found on page 5.
Oh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafem. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom tefillah l'nikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu bacharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. Chaim.
Our closing song, no. Oh, yeah, I guess we should do that. I was so excited. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And now our closing song is No Easy Walk to Freedom, which can be found on your Shabbat handout.
Brother Martin was a-walking with me, and every step I heard a liberty. Though he's fallen, come a million behind. Glory, hallelujah, gonna make it this time. No easy walk to freedom. No easy walk to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history. In our land, not so long ago, we lived the struggle, and that's how we know. Slavery abolished, coming freedom's call. Keep on walking and injustice will fall. No easy walk to freedom. No easy walk to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history. Oh, bread for the body there's got to be, but a soul will die without liberty. Pray for the day when the struggle is past. Freedom for all, free at last, free at last. No easy walk to freedom. No easy walk to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history. No easy walk to freedom. No easy walk to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history, you and me.
Please rise for the closing benediction. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. If Martin Luther King Jr.'s life teaches us anything, let it be that the world we have inherited is not the world we have to leave for our children. We can change it. We can make it more whole. This world is in desperate need of us to be midwives of hope, midwives of justice, and midwives of peace. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
No easy walk to freedom.
No easy walk
to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history. No easy walk to freedom. No easy walk to freedom. Keep on walking and we shall be free. That's how we're gonna make history, you and me.